As a South Asian daughter, do you feel that you have to hide your dating and your love life and your experience until you get married? So in this episode, we're going to talk about South Asian daughters and the expectations with the dating and love life.
So when I was a kid, I wasn't, like, forthcoming with my parents. I definitely they knew I was dating, I feel like, but it wasn't like I was like, "Hey, I have a date tonight, I'm going out." It was more, "Hey, I'm meeting friends," and then I would meet them, right? So I don't know
Okay.
that I lied. I don't know that I most of the dates I went on were sort of in group settings more,
Okay.
and then once I got to know them, if they happen to come over or something like that, then yeah, like, they would know that I don't know why I feel like I just never labeled it dating. I had so many friends, I think I just blended them all in.
So they would come to your house sometimes as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a bit older, for sure, I recall, like but again, in sort of a group format, they would be there,
Oh, okay.
you know?
Okay.
So it's kind of like yeah, more like that, and I didn't date young, so it wasn't like I was 16 and dating and trying to, like, sneak out or something, so it
Yeah.
didn't I didn't even start dating until, like, the first person I dated, I think I was 18, and then that was, like,
Okay.
minimal, and then really more later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it was like appropriate age for them to allow you to go on a date, but without asking questions because they didn't want to know that as well.
I think they didn't wanna know, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they weren't like they would wanna know when I'm coming home, like, they had, like, rules like that because I was living at
Yeah.
their place, but yeah, I sort of had a bit of freedom, but again, I used to go out a lot in general. Like that was my go-to. Friends were my go-to, and so they're very used to me going out, and
Okay.
that was just a norm. So it wasn't even. I don't think it was even like
They
registering.
even thought about it, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, "Okay, just another day."
yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. In my
Yeah.
case, yeah. Now I know that's not the norm among South
Yeah.
Asian daughters. What have you experienced?
Well, it was actually a funny story. Just, like, last weekend, I was at home for reading week, and me, my mom, and my dad were just sitting in the kitchen, and we were talking, and I was like, "Dad, like, when would you want to know that I'm with someone?" Like, when? Because my mom wants this is her thing, she wants to know, but she doesn't wanna know the details of it.
Hmm.
It's like, "Yeah, you're with someone, okay, now that's good and for me to know. You can tell me when you go out with them, but, like, that's it. Like, let's wait till you're a bit older." My dad said, his words, "Just keep lying to me if you're lying right now." I was like, "What?" So he basically just told me, "Just continue lying." He's like, "It's okay if you're lying. I want you to lie. Just keep lying." I was like, "Okay, so I should just lie." I'm like, "What if?" He's like, "Lie until it's really serious." I said, "What if it's serious next year when I'm, like, 21?" He was like, "Okay, if it's really serious at 21, you can tell me." But I think if I was 21 and I told him that, he would say, "Not yet."
Ah. Ah, yes.
Yeah.
So, he's actually trying to be the good dad by not interfering,
Yeah.
but he knows himself, right? He can't handle it. Like, it just feels
Yeah.
overwhelming, so he's like, "Yeah, I'd rather not know. Just yeah, just tell me when
Just
it
lie.
matters."
Yeah, like, if I go out and let's say I'm going out with a guy, he wants me to just lie and say, "Oh, it's just with friends." I'm like, "That seems crazy to me." Because I think if I was a parent, I'd be like, "Okay, you have to tell me, like, I need to know."
Yeah, I would say that. I mean,
Yeah.
but your mom's more towards that, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So she was just laughing. She was like, "This is so funny." Like, you'd rather her just lie. What parent ever says, "Please lie to me?"
I know, right? Exactly.
You know?
But I love that you asked like, actually asked the question, like, I wouldn't have had the courage to ask that question.
Okay.
Like, it wouldn't even dawned on me to ask the question, to be honest, so, yeah, so that's really neat. So your dad was probably kind of thrown off a little bit because I'm
Yeah.
sure he was surprised to hear the question.
Yeah, I think I do like joking around with them, so sometimes they'll just say, "Oh, I'm going on a date," and then they'll just be like they know I'm lying, so they'll just laugh, but I think this was more of a serious question, so he gave his serious answer. So I was like, "I am getting older now, like, let's let's hear what you guys actually want," because I wouldn't want to just lie
Mhm.
if they wanted me to tell them the truth, you know?
Of course.
So now I know that he wants me to lie, so I guess I'll just have to do that.
Yes, yes, exactly, I guess so. And I
Yeah.
guess you'll have to secretly tell your mom and hope she keeps it a secret.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, I think, like, okay, for you, what age like, how old were you when you came home and you're like, "This is who I'm gonna marry." Like, I want you guys to meet him.
What so that would have been I mean, so the person I actually married, I was older though, it was 1996 that I met him. So, how old was I? 27, 26. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I was older for sure, but by then I had dated plenty of people that they would not know the number.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, I dated plenty of people. Not necessarily serious relationships enough that I would have shared, but and they've
Yeah,
definitely met a few of them, but again, it was more in, like, group format.
okay.
So, how much did they realize I was really dating them? Not sure. I tended to bring the Indian guys home faster to in the
Okay.
group, right?
Yeah.
But then I married a white man, so but that was fine.
Mhm.
Like, my parents are pretty open-minded. I think I told you that my mom even said, "Actually, I prefer you to marry a white guy because I don't
Yeah,
want you to deal with the
I
whole
know, that
expectations as a daughter-in-law stuff." I'm like, "Wow,
yeah,
okay."
so funny. I know.
Yeah, and I hear that. I get that.
Mhm.
I appreciate my mom's wanting to protect me from that.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah, the real introduction of it was more like a very serious discussion of, "This
okay,
is the guy, you've met him a few times, we're really thinking it's getting serious. What are your thoughts about him?" Like, I wanted their
okay.
opinion too.
Yeah.
That was important, whereas he's the first person I remember ever asking an opinion about. I really never asked for an opinion prior to him.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
before it was kind of like, "Oh, here's this is the guy."
Yeah, there's a guy, I'm getting to know him, maybe I feel like he didn't talk like that. I feel like it was
Yeah,
just all quiet, and they would just show up, and we would be in groups, and like I said, my parents just got used to me being out.
okay. So it was a
Yeah,
bit different then.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, I so then did that change your opinion then when having kids that you didn't want them to not tell you? Were you or do you still feel like, "Okay, just tell me when you think it's serious?"
I want them to tell me I've always said, "Share with me." Right?
Okay,
Like, whether you're having a challenge with a friend or whether you're, seeing someone or whether like, whatever it looks like, right? Like, I want my world to be come to me because I'm open and I'm non-judgmental and I'm gonna really hear you and I'm not gonna overreact. I'm gonna really try and be grounded, and I'll guide when, I feel like I should guide, but I'll always be open to, you know, it's up to you in the end, right? Like, giving them
yeah.
back their own words, but my goal is definitely I want them to share. I just feel it's safer,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Like, period. Like,
Then
it's
at
just
least you know what's going on. True.
yeah, and it's not to be friends with them, that's not the goal, it's to be again, I wanna know that I'm there where they know they can come to me, share anything they want, whether it's exciting or whether it's difficult, and I can lend an ear when necessary, I can lend some advice when necessary, I can or I can comfort them when necessary, like, whatever that is, I just wanna be their go-to person, knowing that they have that, and that they can also
Yeah.
internalize that, knowing that there is someone.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I would want to be the same as well. And I think, like, it feels like now at least I see with my friends and, like, even just how I think about it, the pressure to bring, like, the perfect one home, like, to not make a mistake is crazy because 'cause you're just like, "I have to bring this guy home, and now we have to get married." But what if he comes home and you don't feel like he is getting along with your family, you don't see the vibe you wanted there, but now it feels more like you're stuck, like, "Oh god, like, now I feel that I do have to marry him," or it's so much pressure that when you're dating or seeing a guy, you're like, "Is this someone am gonna marry? Do I need to bring him home now? Like, what's going on?" So I'm like, I think that's too much, like, why can't we just allow them to come in our family space and see how everything is? Like, I think that seems better to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like, when it's sort of starting out, like, just kind of have them over and whatever, right? Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's much better too.
Just like an open environment. And then also, I feel like it would be a better relationship between my parents and him because they would have known each other for longer rather than just a couple months before we get married.
Totally.
Then he's in
Exactly.
our environment all the time. You guys don't even know, like, his favorite color. I don't know. Like, it's just
I'd be curious to do another, episode on this where you go back and you ask your dad, "You know what? Now that I've thought about it," if you're open to this, um,
yeah.
w I'm just curious, like, why are you saying that, I should lie? Like, why don't you wanna meet someone if there was someone?
I I I would definitely ask him that because that's something I could see myself asking, but I think I know he would probably be like, "It's overwhelming." For him through his I think he's very, like, I'm his, like, little girl, like, I'm growing up so fast, it's, like, scary and sad and all those things, and I think if a boy were to come home and I were to be like, "Oh, I'm serious with this guy," he would just automatically think, "Oh my god, like, she's gonna move out, she's gonna have a new family." I don't even know if it's the dating that he finds weird because him and my mom dated, so I'm just like, I don't know. It's interesting, I should ask that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're probably pretty accurate, but I feel like there's something I just wonder sometimes if people think that you should. That's what you're supposed to. You're not supposed to be happy when your daughter's dating. You're not supposed to, like,
Yeah.
encourage it. Like, there as if there's some unwritten rules that it's just how it is. I'm a dad. I'm supposed to be protective, and I'm supposed to or is it just genuinely like what you're saying, where he's overwhelmed and the sadness is overtaking him? In which case, does he need to help himself a little bit so that he can actually be there for
Yeah.
you, right? That's another question, like, I don't know, like, what the right answer to that is. I'd be curious if, our listeners would be interested in giving their opinion on this because
Yeah.
it's there's no right or wrong answer. My only thing would be I would wanna know that my kid can come to me because if there's any trouble, I would definitely wanna make sure that I can
Wanna
be
know.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but even in the joys, I wanna like, just yeah, share that with them. So,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like, one thing also we could talk about is a little bit, like, double standards. Like, I'm not, like growing up, so I do have an older brother who's 2 years older than me, and we will make jokes as a family together, like, "Oh, when are you gonna have a girlfriend? Like, I wanna meet a girl that you're with, like, it'd be so fun." Like, it's talked about in such a different way and openly around even other family, that if we were to make that joke about me, like, that would not even happen. I can make the
Mhm.
joke with immediate family, like my parents, but if I were to do it around, like, aunts and uncles and, like, further family, it would be like, "Oh my god, Ria, what are you saying? Stop talking."
Uh-huh.
But it's
Yeah.
just such a double standard there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure it is, 100%. And it's, hopefully changing, but I think there's a lot of families that are still perpetuating the cycle of, women are not the ones to speak out and that the boys yes, it's, permission for everything for boys, right?
But I don't it's just confusing because I'm like, He's he will be talking to a girl, he will be dating a girl, and maybe it'll be an Indian girl. So then her family is probably telling her, "You can't date, you can't date." But then it's getting encouraged from the guy side, so it just feels like, at the end of the day, it's just weird circle, this loop that just
Yeah,
you can't get through.
I agree. I agree totally. And, how do we change that?
Yeah, I think maybe the newer generation, like my generation, I guess, when we were to have kids, hopefully, a lot of us would overcome that and be like, "Okay, let's not stay with" again, like you were saying in, like, a previous episode, "stay with something familiar." Let's, like, push past that and be with our child and say, "Okay, you can tell me what you want," because at the end of the day, you wanted to do that with your parents, right? So we all that's what we should change.
Completely, completely, and it's gonna feel scary, so it's going back to the Be Fabulous technique or any technique you want to help your own nervous system, it feels scary to break these cycles,
Yeah,
right? That's the bottom line, and we need to, because like you just said, it's confusing, right? Like, here you
Mhm.
are watching your brother just openly share and talk and whatever, and then your dad's like, "No, please lie." Right?
Yeah.
Like, same dad, right? But,
Yeah.
"No, son, you can tell me everything, but no, daughter, you better lie to me, I can't handle it." And yes, like, I get it from an emotional standpoint where if it is the overwhelm and all of that, there is a sweetness to the baby girl, but really, there should be a sweetness to the baby boy too.
Yeah, like, that's still your son. Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the stereotype of boys have permission and girls don't, it does need to change, and it takes even when you're gonna be parenting one day, if that's what you choose, it's going to be, again, unfamiliar when you get there, and then suddenly you'll be like, "Oh, shoot, I'm doing it," right? Or
Yeah.
maybe my husband's doing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and seeing how you wanna make that change. I'm always deliberate in my changes, like, once I'm conscious of it, I put intention into my changes, so, like, being really
Mhm.
open with the kids and wanting to hear about everything, and even stuff that in the beginning can sort of, like, surprise me, I will take a moment, right? I'll really sit with it, I will reflect, like, what's getting me so upset or scared or whatever's happening, and then really look at how can I come back to the now and comfort myself and then talk with them,
Yeah.
right? Takes a lot of work to do that, but it's worth it because
Yeah, and it's something you want to change.
exactly. Something I wanna change because I know I didn't like it, and I also wanna make sure that my kids, again, are connected and open with me, which, yeah, sometimes it's like, "Whoa, okay, that's a lot." Right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Lot of information, yeah.
yeah, for sure, exactly. Thanks so much for listening. And just a reminder that the information that you are hearing through the podcast, whether that's through us or through anybody we might be interviewing, that the content is not meant to be therapeutic in any way. It is not therapy. If you do feel like you need some support, please go and seek out a mental health provider. The information is really meant for educational and entertainment purposes. Thanks again. And don't forget to follow.